All right, if you're a cash physical therapy business owner, if you're watching this, you're probably wondering number one, what exactly is the local authority funnel? Number two, how did I use it to take my own cash physical therapy business Motion Rx from 0 to 4 million cash collected over the last few years without insurance or depending on word of mouth? And number three, is that going to be a one off success or can aspects of that actually work for you as well? All right, and so in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to answer all three of those questions. Now, for context, my name is Peter Yu. I'm the founder of Motion Rx. We're one of the largest cash PT clinics here in the US, and I also run one of the largest consulting businesses for cash pay clinics looking to scale to 100K. Now, I've already mentioned the success of my own business, but we've also worked with hundreds of other cash PT clinics as well, right? So, including some of these. So, Angela, who went from 17K to 60K in 9 months, Mahib, who went from 15K to 50K in 6 months, Dylan, who went from 2K to 62K in 4 months, and Vince, who went from 12K to 58K, Tony, who went from 16 to 42K in 30 days, and then Ian, who went from 23K to 51K per month in 90 days, right? And so we do all of this through implementing a predictable patient acquisition process that we call the local authority funnel, right? And this is going to work regardless if your cash practice is in a large city like New York City, California, or even rural areas in Ohio and Nebraska, or if you have zero marketing and tech experience and you have no sales background. And one more thing before we dive in, right? We're not another marketing sales company who's never actually done it and who's just focused on getting you like super low quality leads and flood you with those when they have no idea what it's like to run a cash PT clinic. And like I mentioned already before, I've actually owned and scaled successfully cash PT practices to seven-figure business. So I know the ins and outs of how to integrate in marketing and sales with patient management and scheduling efforts and how to do that with a full team all compliantly without making random claims. And that's not just because like I'm another marketing expert out here, but I'm also somebody who's actually done it and is currently doing it in today's current day and age, right? And so with that being said, how does the local authority funnel actually work? Well, and so you've probably already aware by now that short form content is a huge trend right now, right? So between TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts, Mr. Beast has pretty much said it's pretty much like a once in a lifetime opportunity for content creators. Now, let me be clear. I'm not recommending you go ahead and post short form content, even though you certainly can. What I am recommending is that you advertise on what I like to call the local authority funnel. Why? Right? Because compared to traditional marketing efforts such as organic social media, word of mouth referrals, injury screens, meet the docs, community workshops, and local networking, all these are a tremendous time suck. And most importantly, they are unpredictable. Right. And so when I first started my cash practices, these were all the different funnels and inputs that I was trying to do, but I eventually just ran out of time and pretty much just got burnt out of doing so many fucking workshops and injury screens every single weekend, right? And so with the local authority funnel, you save out on a ton of time and most importantly, it's predictable, right? And so with the local authority funnel, you can capitalize on a huge trend. There's so little competition because again, it's a new thing, right? And it's pretty recent. It requires zero tech, so you can integrate it in the CRM that you do have. But if you don't have anything and you're really just starting out, it's a super lightweight solution that you can use. It'll allow you to iterate very quickly. You can iterate it in 4 to 6 day timeframes. There's a super short setup, 7 days usually, and it can be fully automated. And most importantly, when you are done, it's a system you can build internally into your company in which you can pull the lever and predictably get more clients at your will. Okay, so that's the most important part, is just predictable client acquisition system. So let's go ahead, let's just break down the nitty gritty of what the actual local authority funnel is, right? So you pretty much run a short form ad, very similar to this. Selfie style, UGC, what we call user generated content, either at your clinic, in somewhere in your local town. You can use yourself or your staff members, and you film it usually anywhere between 60 to 120 seconds on your iPhone. You run it as an ad, as an offer to your ideal ICP, your ideal avatar, and then from there, they'll click on it. You call out their pain points, and then it'll push them into an opt-in form. The opt-in form here, right, is going to let them know, hey, what exactly they're going to be signing up for. And then from there, you want to have different filtering questions set up in place so that you only get people who are actually serious and are local to you, right? The cool thing about all this is that it really positions you as a local expert within the offer that you're running. After they submit their information, right, so name, phone number, and email, it's going to drive them to a landing page where they can then watch more nurturing content through either like a VSL where you talk more about their pain points and tell them who you are a good fit for, and they can go ahead and schedule a callback time with your team to basically see if they qualify. All right, once they submit that information, it's going to go directly into your CRM. CRM basically stands for Customer Relationship Management Software, where you can email, text, and call all of your leads all specifically in one place. Now, before I go even further, if you're somebody who has tried ads before and you say ads don't work, probably is due to one of these few reasons, right? Either your creative sucks and it isn't unique enough. And the reason why is because if you have worked with marketing agencies before in the past, they probably just give you the same cookie cutter, like shoulder anatomy picture. And so it's not unique to you or your company, right? Also too, your offer probably isn't good enough. It's not going to cause these people to stop scrolling, click in, and want to actually go through your information and submit, most importantly, their contact information out to you. Right, everyone is getting blasted with ads these days. You need to have a very unique and compelling offer in order for someone who is your ideal ICP to want to click and opt in. And also too, you don't have enough friction to filter out tire kickers and quote, quote, shitty leads, right? So people who are just randomly submitting their information without having some sort of filtering process set up in place so that we only attract people who are actually serious about this. And then most importantly, your lead to eval booking process isn't efficient enough, okay? And so I used to be somebody who said ads did not work for me, and primarily because I didn't know any of these things at all. I went through marketing companies after marketing companies where they would just get me a shit ton of leads, but all these leads were very low quality. Right? And so I basically took it upon myself to actually learn the process of what goes into all this as well too, in order to make it as efficient as possible. And so these are the main things that probably you're not optimizing if ads aren't necessarily working for you. So again, we want to make sure it's an ideal. Scroll up right here. Ideally, it's a user-generated content where it's specific to you, your offer, your clinic, the area that you're at, and then we have filtering process set up in place with a compelling offer, and then from there driving into your CRM. Now, when you drive into your CRM, there are two different things and processes that need to be set up efficiently in order for these people to actually go from lead right into actual evals. The first thing we want to have is you want to have automations going on the back end, right? So let me go ahead, let me scroll over a little bit over here for you guys. So most importantly, we want to make sure these leads that are coming in are nurtured so they go from cold lead to a hot lead, and we want pre-frame common objections, right? So giving them a ton of information in terms of what is unique about your clinic, what sets you apart from different insurance as well as other cash pay PT clinics. And then you nurture them with a bunch of testimonials, case studies, right? Value stacking the initial valuations, and then really making sure they show up nurtured and ready to buy, right? The biggest thing is we want to build up as much trust as possible for these people are actually coming in. Now, so those are all automations going on the back end. Most importantly, right, you need to have a setter or SDR set up in place. Okay, so SDR or your front desk appointment setter, their main goal is to basically get all of these leads and turn them into evaluations that actually show up. So we'll help you ramp this person up into KPI. This conversation, it'll basically they'll actually go ahead and call these people, right, and then eventually book them into a 15-minute triage discovery call. That's basically where your setter is going to weed out all the tire kickers. You're going to get a high show rate. This way, when they do actually show up to your clinic, you're only talking with highly qualified leads, right? We'll give you the exact scripting process and training and everything and how this discovery call should go. And it's the same exact process that my clinic uses to book 90 evals every single month from this exact funnel. Because, right, they've already talked with this setter and the SDR, we've basically already weeded out all the tire kickers and people who aren't actually serious about this, so that the only people that show up are going to be showing up at a very high rate. They're pre-framed, pre-educated, and pre-sold on what you're doing, right? And so when they actually do come in for the initial evaluation, this is where we want to have a very specific sales process set up in place, primarily to prevent objections from even occurring in the first place. And if they do occur, how do we actually effectively handle it so you never have to so this way you never have to not know how to handle let me think about it, let me talk to my spouse, let me check my finances, let me check my budget, and let me check my insurance, right? And so we close at a very high rate as well too. So they come in for the eval, you close them onto a plan of care. Now, for all the people who did not convert, right, either onto an evaluation and or onto a plan of care, we have backend automations also set up in place as well too on the back end to continue to nurture them, right? So things such as like different seasonal offers, reactivation campaigns. And this way, you set up a 3 to 5 year automation sequence. That way, if they haven't gotten the help yet, whenever they are ready to come in and get the help they need, they actually come in. And so the most important thing is that the majority of PT clinics never end up following with people. And so they always just end up falling off. Whereas seven-figure cash practice who actually do get people to come in, they never take no for an answer. It just doesn't mean that if they're not ready to buy now, doesn't mean it's a no forever. It just means it's a no now. And we just need to consistently be in front of them so that when they are ready to buy, we are the first ones they automatically think of because we are consistently touching base with them. Right. And so again, one more thing to keep in mind, right? We actually use this inside my practice, right? So we practice what we preach. So again, we're using this exact system to scale year over year from 0 to 4 million. And it's by far really the best way for cash and private pay PTs to significantly increase their patient base and grow their business instead of depending on just word of mouth and or local in-person events. And so if this offer sounds even a little bit interesting to you, and you think that there's a slight chance that it might help you at all, then at least take the time to schedule a call with myself or my team for a call. We'll help you identify the number one constraint in your business and what you need to do moving forward to get that resolved. If it's a good fit, awesome. We'll go into what our process actually looks like to help Cash PT clinics scale to 100K per month and what it looks like to work with us so that you can see if you would like to be a part of it. So if that sounds good, go ahead and book a call below. Worst case, you leave with a game plan based on our experience building a seven-figure Cash PT business and what we would do if we were you, essentially, which is invaluable in and of itself. Best case scenario, we're a mutual fit. You hop in, we help you scale to and pass consistent 100K per month. So either way, there's pretty much no risk in booking the call. The only risk that you do have is to continue doing what you're currently doing and not make any changes. So hopefully this helps, guys. Hopefully you have a good idea of what it's like to go through the local authority funnel and how it'll help you scale your Cash PT clinic.